Grave Reviews, this is Chris.
Have you trapped the children?
There's no children here. It's not safe for them.
This is Alan, and Chris is right. Grave Reviews is intended for mature audiences. Your discretion is advised. Grave Reviews presents Thursday Night Frights.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alan with Grave Reviews. I am so glad to have you here with us tonight with my co-host and good friend, Chris. How are you, sir?
Doing well tonight, doing well. Can't wait to talk about this movie.
Liar. All right, so I'm just going to be completely upfront with everyone on this. I was Okay, so you know how when you're on Bing and some of the other Google searches, right? When you're on the homepage, they have the little blocks where they like throw things up to you, say, "Hey, check this out, check that out." Maybe it's Google News, whatever the case may be, and they kind of trace where you've been to kind of suggest things to you that you know,
They're listening.
and you know, so I got this little thing that said, 20 horror movies from the 80s that everyone has forgotten how good they are. Kind of one of those things. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea for our show. Let's look through this and see. And I see this one, and it's advertised as starring George Clooney and Maureen McCormick, and it's a comedy horror, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's going to be great. That should be a fun one to do. So I just sent Chris a message and said, hey, have you ever seen this movie? And he's like, I don't think I have. I said, I haven't either. Let's look at it for one of our Thursday shows. And he's like, all right, let's do it.
Right.
I was lied to.
Yeah, I don't know what his feed is telling him. Like, you have to watch this. You have to watch this to know what not to watch.
Exactly. Okay, so let's look at it real quick. Let's just dive in real quick. These are actors from the 80s and 90s that everyone should know. All right. So Philip McCain,
Yep.
this kid has been in everything back in the day. You see
He's
his
a
face,
staple.
you're like, I know who this is, right? You've got Al Fan. This guy, again, another name. He's been in everything. He's one of those people that you're like, wasn't he the guy that was in that thing?
Yes.
I saw that thing with him, right? And of course, right? Television, movies through the
yeah.
80s, late 70s, 80s, and 90s. This guy was everywhere. Um, right? Great actor,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got George Clooney. And
Yeah,
this
early
is an early
George
George
Clooney.
Clooney movie. And then, of course, you've got a favorite of every male of the era. You've got
Marsha.
oh my nose, right? I mean, so you're looking at this cast and thinking to yourself, okay, none of them are at this point are really A players, but this should be a good, solid film based on who all's in it. And I'm going to tell you right now, we could stop our review with this. It's not.
It's not.
When you see all of these actors and Maureen McCormick is the best one in the movie,
so good.
that should tell you something.
And not for her acting skills, just for the position she was put in through the entire movie.
Marsha's got chalk dust under his nose. I'm going to say this. I told my wife this when we were having dinner tonight. We were kind of briefly talking about how badly this movie is going to wind up rating, I'm sure. I said, Maureen McCormick, I think that literally about 10 minutes into the movie once she's introduced, you start to realize that she is realizing that this is a piece of shit movie she's in. So she just lays into it. And it's hilarious.
She's the
This
best
is
part of this movie.
She really is, and that's
She is.
so bad to say
Hands down.
because she's got some great actors in
Because
this.
her lines are like literally like 10 seconds long.
Oh, absolutely.
She only
Absolutely.
has a tiny bit of screen time.
And the part of the movie when she walks out, she's got the blood on her chest and her cop uniform's unbuttoned, and she's like, oh, and she's like, oh my God, it's
So much blood. So
I
much
was
blood.
like, you have no clue how many 1970s, early 80s men you just went,
They were
oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, wow, that's weird," but, huh,
Bloodstained Martian in a police uniform with leather
and
gloves.
and she's
Exactly.
raring to go, yeah,
Thank
yes.
you, Darren, because that's exactly it, and it's funny because yeah, okay, so we're gonna try something a little different tonight, and you guys can let us know how you like the format in the comments. Chris and I are going to talk about a high view of the movie up front, and then we're going to break it down and tell you about the movie in detail. So, Chris, how would you rate Horror High on a scale from 1 to 10?
Alright, I basically, let's sum this movie up that there was a murder spree. Production company says, "Hey, let's make a movie about the murder spree, and we're gonna bring everybody into where it occurred." Of course, we didn't find the killer, and then as they're filming a movie about something that happened at the place that they're filming the movie at, they confused the shit out of themselves,
Yeah.
and it became a prank. This movie's politely not good. uh, a 1 to 10, 5 hitting all the marks. You know how we rate it. 5 hits all the marks. It's not a bad movie. This is a bad movie.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Take a couple steps down. We got to see a naked Becky, so should we get a half point? You
Hmm.
know, some funny lines throughout the movie. So going above a half point is rough. I'll give Marshall one.
Hmm.
I'll give Marshall one. Yeah, so that's 1.5. Um, George Clooney's ironic death is worth maybe a half a point. So I'll give this a 2.
Okay, okay, good. So here's my thing on this movie is this is a movie that tried its best to be much smarter than it actually needed to be. It tried its best to through the movie to confuse you on what was real, what was being filmed, what was part of the movie, what wasn't part of the movie, and in the long run, it literally failed at every point. I am with you. If one's a miserable dredge that made me angry,
Yeah,
this movie did not make me angry.
it's
Okay,
close. It's
but it was
close.
but it was close to it. It literally took me uh, 4 different settings to get all the way through it because I just got to the point where I was like, I can't anymore. It's mentally hurting me. Now, I say that to say this. If Chris and I were sitting in the same room with a with a bottle of whiskey between us, that
Yeah.
shots here and there, we would have loved this because we'd have laughed
Oh,
our asses off making fun of it. This is the kind of movie that if
yeah.
you're getting together with your buddies and you're in the mood to just fucking just tear something apart and have a good
Oh,
time
this
with,
would be fun. This would
you
be
would
fun.
have a good time with this
It's
movie.
1987 scary movie. It's a spoof. It's meant to be a spoof. It's very
Yes.
aware of itself, but then it's so aware of itself, it becomes sentient and goes off on a tangent.
It does go off on a tangent. It is so far aware of itself that it's no longer fun. So it would take that what do you call it, that mystery science theater style to be able to really
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
it. So I'm with you. I'm thinking it's a 2.5 out of 10. Stick around and at the end we'll show you where we're going to put it on the shit list. This should be an interesting
Yeah.
conversation to
At
go with.
the end, we shit on it.
Yes, and we're going to shit on this one. So that being said, let's break. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen Return to Horror High and you'd like to, we're going to give you a few seconds to go watch
Yeah,
it.
we'll wait.
Just
We'll
hit the
wait.
pause button. Are you ready? Okay, on your mark, get set, go watch it now. Okay. So, Chris, how was your week?
Well, that was pretty good. Busy week. Yep,
Busy week,
yep,
good.
yep, yep, yep.
Did you see that we have a bunch of good people in the chat
Oh,
tonight?
we do. We got some great people in the chat. They're the
All
best
right,
chat.
well, that should be enough time at this point to have seen
Welcome
them.
back.
Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you being back with us. So, Chris, let's break this one down.
Let's break this one down. I'm normally we do a scene to scene. We kind of cover the movie beginning to end. I don't know where to start here because this is this the track on this movie is all over the place. We switch from a movie or a killing happened a while back,
A long time ago. Yes.
a long time ago. Killer never caught. A bunch of kids died,
Yep.
disappeared. So, a movie company says, "Hey, we're gonna make a movie about all these kids dying and/or disappearing, and we're gonna film it, ironically, in the same place that it happened."
Same place that happened, and the director is like so full of himself, and he wants to make it as a documentary style, taking leeway.
He's thinking Spielberg getting like, we're gonna make this booby horror movie over the top with gore, and people are gonna love it.
And the guy who produces it is like, no, you need more boobs. We need to show more boobs. And by the way, the shower scene, let's make, I love there's one scene that he does have a good line where he says, listen, we need to have this touch and this feel to where people can really grasp a hold, and they'll show the love and the compassion between
Right.
these two, and let's shoot it in the shower scene where they're all naked. It turns out
All
it's
naked.
away. And I'm like going, that's an 80s.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a scene here where Philip McKean comes in with his character, and he's like trying to get with the quiet girl, the new girl, and he's trying to put the moves on her, and she's like, "You're a piece of shit." And he's like, "I know, but I'm the piece of shit,
But I am the piece
and
of
you're
shit.
gonna date me, or I'm going to rip the clothes or rip the towel off the girl next to her, take naked Becky out into the hallway."
And he
and
uh,
and she's like, "Just go out with them, please." Ah.
and then it cuts to the what do you call it, the lovers point, right, where they're up in the hills alone
Mhm.
overlooking the valley, and he gets all grapey on
Yeah.
her.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and you find out this whole thing is part of the
Part of the
movie that
movie?
they're
Like, what the
filming inside the movie, and this is the point where you go, "Oh, I see how this is gonna be."
that's the second time we're like, "Oh, I got it. You're
Yeah.
going to go from scenes of the past to scenes that are about scenes of the past, and we're going to lay them over each other and not tell you which is which." And
Yes.
pretty much all of them are not scenes from the past.
Yeah, and this is why I had said early on that, this movie tried to be a much smarter than it actually is.
It
It
outwitted itself.
Yeah, it was like, "We're going to confuse you, but you're gonna go, 'Oh, that's cool.'" Well, yeah, no, if you don't do it right, it doesn't become the, "Oh, that's cool." It becomes the,
Yeah.
"What the hell do you think you're doing?"
It was hardcore spoofing, and it was too much.
Yeah, and this is
There's
why
some great lines. I love how, like, you're gonna just walk around here with your schlong out. In your case, we'll call it a schlort.
it had some good one-liners in it. I will admit that. And I'll be honest with you also. Again, as I had said before, Maureen McCormick's lines when she was as the cop, she was funny. She
She's hitting
truly
it.
was. And had to be because she realized that this is a piece of shit movie. So I'm just gonna lay into it.
Yeah, she comes off as like the overzealous, energetic cop who wants to help. To she's got some weird cop kink going on at the same time, and it
Yes.
just progresses and progresses to where the uniform's unbuttoned, she's covered in blood, and she's like, "Oh my god, don't go in there, it's so bad."
Oh,
Like,
there's
it's the
body
horror.
everywhere. I can't tell who's who. Oh,
So
fucking.
let's talk about that. Who's who? Like, there are body parts everywhere. We show up, and there's sheets all
Yes.
over outside. And they're
Yes.
like, "Oh my god, we don't know how many people there are. There's so many parts." And then, like, at one point, that one moved, and he goes over and he grabs the arm. The arm comes off. She's like, "Oh, we didn't know. We didn't realize." He's like, "That's a woman." She's like, "Yeah, this is a man's arm." "Oh, we must have got confused."
It was. Oh.
But then that joke goes through to the end.
Yes, and there is one big payoff in that whole thing, and that's the point where the cops decide they're going to go into the school for a change, and all the dead people that are laying around sit up and go, "All right, everyone, into the van."
Yeah, no, all the body parts get collect up, and they all hop in the trucks, and they're like, "Ha, we're gonna get this movie." And it was like, "Well, wait.
What the fuck
How
just happened?
come they're all covered in blood putting body parts together?"
It was
I don't
just
get it.
oh my god, it was just it's so ridiculous. And here's the thing, had there been more of that style of okay, so chat room, my friends, my talking dead. Have you ever seen the movie Student Bodies?
Mhm.
Okay. Student Bodies was an early 80s slasher. It was one of the first horror comedies that I can remember. And to the point that they literally like counted the dead as it was going on.
Right.
And it was whenever there was a kill, it was a point of view from the killer's point of view. It was a horribly shot, horribly done, horribly written movie that I laughed my ass off
Yeah.
and I will tell you right now, if you've never seen it, look up the movie poster for Student Bodies because it is one of the best
Yeah, it's cool.
movie posters from any horror film of any time. Matter of fact, when Chris goes into his next spiel, I'll look that up for you. This movie could have lead into it like Student Bodies did, and no matter how bad it was, we would have enjoyed it. They just didn't lean into it enough. They had
Yeah.
2 or 3 actors who leaned into it, right?
It
Uh,
was it was trying to just outsmart the viewer.
and,
Was
and
the
it
main
was,
issue. It was like, oh, we got you. You thought this was really going on in the past, but we were shooting the movie. We have to reshoot this, and then they pick up, and they're reshooting a different scene that's going on, and then that like isn't a scene. That is why he went off to go get killed, and oh nope, but now it is a scene, and it was just constantly trying to outsmart you, and it to the point of I get it, dude. I get it.
yeah,
You're we it's Inception. It's a movie within a movie about a movie.
that's a good way to put it. It really was. Yeah, I just I don't know. There's such a hard line for me on this film because it's like you guys had such an opportunity again
Oh yeah.
with a killer cast. But you just you tried too hard. This is the
Much better movie.
this the I had someone say to me at one point in time, if you could tell me what is a great movie poster for a bad movie, I immediately posted this one. Student Bodies
It's
has
a
one
good
of the
one.
greatest movie posters of all time.
It's great.
This is before there was a Scream. There was Student Bodies, the world's first horror comedy, and it was
Yeah.
great.
Well,
Again,
you've talked about this on the show before that where that place that horror makes you scared is also the place that makes you laugh, and that's why when you're nervous and you've got a bit of the fear in you, you get a nervous giggle and stuff. It comes from the same place.
yes, it
So
does.
horror and comedy is a great mix when it's done right because the scares and the laughs just go hand in hand, and it can be a very enjoyable. Young Frankenstein,
Yep.
you know,
Scream, the
Scream.
original
So the
Scream was
scary
perfect.
movies, even the scary movies laying into that, they're fun when you come into that. And it's this is yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ironic scene, George Clooney, where like he's the heartthrob on the movie, and oh, you're gonna be big and famous, and you're gonna be big and famous, and they lay in hard to 1987 George Clooney, who of
Yes.
course does go on to be big and famous.
Yeah, well, kind
Um,
of, yeah.
yeah, well, he had a run at it anyway. But yeah, and then him getting killed, which was perfect. That was a good kill.
Yeah. It was funny because this movie okay, so again, I was lied to, right? So
Yeah.
when I read the synopsis and they're like, oh, it's an early George Clooney movie and it has George Clooney and it has Marsha Brady, Maureen in it, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. He was in the movie for a total of like less than 15 minutes from the time
Yeah.
he was
Oh yeah.
introduced to the
It was
time he
on. Yeah.
killed was
Quick.
was like 12 minutes.
He's the first to truly go.
Yeah, he's the first death on screen. And they didn't show it. All they showed was his face against the glass with blood splattering out.
Blood coming, like just starting to come out of him, but coming down the door, not going over the glass, but
Uh-huh.
picking back under the glass, going down the rest of the door, but pulling from the inside.
It's so bad. And it's
Uh,
not good bad. See, okay, so guys, listen. We're well aware of the it's so bad that it makes me laugh and have a good time. I was like literally scratching my head going, what the frickin' look. I was talking like Yosemite Sam for a half hour, right?
yep. Yeah, I
Because
texted Alan once I watched it and said, "Damn you,
yeah,
damn you, Alan."
okay. I literally okay, so I literally at one point in time I just sent Chris a text and said, "Hey, Chris, have you seen Return to Horror High yet?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Well, good luck." Good
Yeah, good luck.
luck. His
It's
next response to me was about the movie we're watching next week, and he followed that up with, "Oh, and by the way, Horror High, damn you." Oh, it's like, "Oh no."
it's funny because we have
Well, hold on,
the
hold on, hold on a second. Did you
yeah,
see Darren's remark?
yes, exactly.
Darren says he was
Absolutely.
highlighted first, and you're
He
right.
gets pushed right up against that door, and there's no blood going on right now, but
And as he gets pushed up against the door, he's making a face. It's like, oh my god.
it's awkward. A little awkward death.
And this is why I love our Talking Dead.
Hey,
Thank you very
exactly,
much.
exactly. Don't want to leave that out. We've got a girl that plays three characters in the movie about the killing, who's played by a person who plays the three characters. Damn
Just
it.
just don't try to explain it. Just don't. So there's one girl who plays three different people in the movie, and they're all it's like she's playing the character of the past that died or didn't die. We're not really sure. And then she plays the daughter of the principal who got sent away to another school, and then she plays herself in the current film adaptation of
With
what it's too convoluted to care.
Yeah, because the guy that ends up playing the guy in the movie is the guy from the killings that happened several years ago. What
Or was it the janitor?
or was it wasn't the janitor? That was just a partially racist joke. That was really the principal wearing the janitor's face.
Oh my god, it was like it was oh so okay, so again, we got to keep in mind when this movie was filmed.
Oh yeah,
But
87. I mean, yeah, it was a great attempt at trying to really spoof the slashers of the time.
it really was.
It was really trying, um, and there were some funny parts in there, like the blood, like throwing buckets of blood around, where it's like some moving scene. The director's trying to, he's like, "Oh, we need more blood. We need body parts," you know.
Which is funny because literally there's a point where they're like showing one scene, and then they show this actor who has this huge amount of blood just thrown on him for no reason, and it cuts out, and it's actually the producer of the film throwing the blood on the guy from
Right.
off screen, going, "We need more blood,"
Need
and
more blood.
as it's cutting to the like live portion of it. So yeah, was there some interesting stuff that they did? Yes. Again, they tried too hard.
Yeah, it just didn't. There was no cohesion going on through
Nope,
this movie because
there really
it
wasn't.
plays Inception on you, where you're, you know, okay, it's the past, and he's got the girl, and then we pan out, and it's really them filming the scene, and that girl isn't the girl; she's really the other girl who's playing the other three girls, and this guy's really not that guy, but he was really aggressive for a freaking movie. But okay, I get it, and then we go back into it, and then that guy dies for
Uh-huh,
real.
uh-huh.
But it was
And
a scene about the past, wasn't it?
And again, they're trying their so hard to be smart. So Chris, Chris has brought up the movie Inception a couple times. In our chat, one of our longtime friends here, Darren says, Jacob's Ladder, Memento, and Return to Horror High, all with question marks. It's like they're trying to be more than they need to be. Now, keep
Yeah.
in mind, this is an early movie. This is something that was before Inception by a long shot. This is
Oh yeah.
something before these other movies by a long shot. But and could it possibly have given ideas to? Yeah, it could have, because this is a good idea had it been handled properly. Unfortunately, it was definitely not
No, it
handled.
seems like the same goofballs that were planning to put this movie inside the high school were the same real people in real life putting up the movie about the movie and the movie in the high school. And then
And
we're going to film both sides of it to give you that fourth wall break, but it's not a fourth wall break because it's part of the movie. Wow,
so
it's the first, like I said, first 25 minutes I watched and it was like,
what's
I'm
going
missing something.
on?
I missed something. I must not have been paying attention, and watched it again and then went, okay, I went a little further and went, nope, I didn't get it.
I
Went,
still don't get it. I still don't get it. Uh,
oh, I get
uh,
it.
they're trying to be smart. Andy Romaine, who is now pictured in the center of the screen here. This guy has been in a ton of films. He is a very
He's a veteran, yeah,
good
when it comes to
character style
movies.
actor. He plays the principal in this movie, and my God, was he miscast or no, you know what? I take that back. He wasn't miscast. I think he, just like Maureen McCormick, figured out that he was in a piece of shit movie and he was just going to have fun with it,
Yeah, go
because
for it.
his character, some of the shit that he did
Creepy. He was a
was
creepy guy.
funny.
It there was some real. He plays. Well, he is a stand-in for basically an advisor for the movie, but he was the principal in the school during the time of the murders,
Yes.
who's kind of creepy.
Yeah, you
Nobody
kind
knows where his daughter went. She's one of the ones that maybe have disappeared. It's just it was a bit much.
it was a bit much. It was the pro I think where this movie suffered, honestly, is they tried to throw too much at it. It was funny. Again, Darren had made the point in during the movie. The gentleman that was writing the movie that was being filmed inside the movie, the guy who was doing the thing inside the thing that
But he's
had
outside.
the thing going,
Right.
was completely having to rewrite it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what actually was happening and it
Yeah.
was funny, so they just made it part of the movie.
Yeah, it seemed that way because the movie is basically the writer of the movie within the movie about the murder and the murder place
And
um, is
thing,
recounting the tale of what happened that led to all of these bodies outside. And the cops are just listening to him with like random police officers going in and out of the school, coming out like, oh, there's it's crazy and there's a lot of blood. And okay, let's continue with the writer telling the story um, until the end. I will give the end a little credit where, he's off. I'm gonna write a sequel. It's gonna be Return to Horror High,
and I'm
and
gonna be honest with you, the very like right before the credits rolled, the smile that he has on his face,
yeah, it was
I
good.
was like, boom, right there. Right?
Yeah, because he was basically like, I'm in on it, and you know what? The principal's my dad.
Yeah. And then he hears his dad talking to him, and I'm like, this is what the movie
Dad?
should have been, right? Even, you know what would have been great is that if his dad had died and he was okay, let's do a Norman Bates with this guy,
Yeah, right.
right?
He's
That could,
javelined up against the wall anyway.
or is he?
Not anymore.
Although I have to admit, okay, all right, so we're jumping around. There's
Yeah.
a scene in this where he gets javelined up against the wall. But, all right, hold on. Um, our uh, our one and only token black actor in this movie, who's the janitor for some reason, go figure, at the 1980s, winds up not actually even being black. He's just the principal in disguise.
Yeah.
All right, so this fight scene where he would hit our hero and go, hee, woohoo! I was laughing so
No,
hard. I was like,
this, this,
"Ugh."
yeah, this is what I needed more of, I guess.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was
And
too.
it's funny, like they play on the whole, like all I kept hearing was the squeaking thing. Well, is it the principal's chair? Is it the janitor's bucket? It was yes. The answer is yes. It was all of those things because it was all apparently the same guy.
And then he rips the mask off, right? Because we all know that in the 1980s, according to even to the movie Happy Birthday to Me, right? That all it takes is a little bit of a rubber over the top to make
And if
everything.
it wasn't for meddling kids, they'd all get away with it.
Which is the only thing they could have done to make that movie work, is to go. And if it wasn't for you meddling. Oh my god. So he
Yeah.
pulls it off, and and it's the principal, right? And the principal's literally every time he makes a movie, he's like, hee, woo, ah, hee. And I'm like going, fuck you
They're
so
sitting there catching flies.
much. Oh my god.
And the whole time, like the second time you see him catching the fly, and he's like, "Bing." I'm like, there's dead bodies somewhere.
Yeah,
There's a lot of flies that he's been sitting around catching by hand.
in the and our hero going, yeah, you can have the girl. I'm gonna go watch Monday Night Football. It's the Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden he gets this accent that he didn't have it through the rest of the movie. It's Pittsburgh.
God,
It's the Colts or whatever he said. I
right?
was going, shut the
Oh
front
God,
door,
yeah.
you. And- oh yes. Oh, it's so,
Steelers, yeah.
so
It's
bad.
funny. So, so I guess the principal must have been playing the janitor for years,
Yes.
considering the cop that was there during the murders that was going out with the principal's daughter, who apparently didn't know that she had a brother. Um, okay, when he has an interaction with Amos, and he's like, Amos, you got to be, getting out of here, retire. Oh yeah, I've been here so long. Oh yeah, long as I can remember. Oh, so long. And he goes off, and it's so the principal was playing that dude for that one. What's happening here?
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. And then and at one point he even says, "Well, apparently you've never been Amos." And
Yeah.
I'm going, "What the fuck is happening?"
Okay. Yeah.
God. So bad. So bad.
Like I said, Marsha coming out every now and then with like how bad it is or how really she wants to do police work so bad.
Yeah.
And is she hitting on him? No, she's just ready to go.
She
Okay,
just
like
wants she wants to get in there and look at those dead
I get
bodies.
my hands dirty. Like,
So
look at that. It's like that doesn't even match. Well, we got confused.
She was great. I'm telling you, I could have taken 15 minutes of her just doing those parts
It
back
was
to back and
great.
just giggling myself silly.
And she was. Darren, reel me back in. I was gonna say that she kind of brings you back to like, okay, that was
Yeah,
cool. Let's see what's going on next. And then you're just about like ready to like, this is some bullshit. She comes popping up and says something again. You're like, oh,
well,
okay.
and it's funny because how she does it, and again, she had to realize what was going on because literally you've got 20 or so dead bodies covered up. There's blood splatter everywhere, whatever, and she's like,
Yeah.
and literally, she comes, or she's like all sensual. Oh,
Yeah.
he's got the roll down to the point that you're like, okay, she gets it. And if it wasn't for her, this movie would be unwatchable.
Right. It's that peripheral humor that works where you have a scene going on, but something is happening to the adjacent to what's going on, and it's great.
It's
It
funny.
wrapped it. It kind of made me feel with her spot made me feel like the whole quit picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Like
Exactly.
that kind of role.
Exactly. Exactly. I honestly, this movie is an hour and a half long. It could have been 65 minutes and been
Could be.
perfect,
Yeah.
right?
A little
Um,
chop in the front, a little chop in the end.
we would have literally went, what do an hour and 10 minutes, really? And been like, and walked away from it going, that was
It
awesome.
was
That
neat.
was
It
great.
was they went for a neat twist of, it was really the principal all along. He had all of the bodies of the people that disappeared years ago in the basement of the school with his daughter, who was pregnant with the now cop who's playing the leading guy of the girl that got killed years. Don't try.
Yeah, don't.
But he got her pregnant in a rage. He killed his own daughter and left her in the basement to talk to that Norman Bates style.
Yeah,
And definitely a touch on Hitchcock where they bring the daughter into it.
and what they did here is they did the happy birthday to me, right?
Yeah,
Where all
everybody's sitting around.
around only instead of it's a wedding,
Yeah,
right? So instead of it being a birthday
and
celebration.
you're gonna marry my dead daughter
Yeah,
because
oh
she
my
was
god.
pregnant with your child.
Uh,
You missed this by several years, apparently. Like,
mm, I'm just
and yep. And if a killer's coming after you, you're in the school. It's the '80s. I mean, let's think about it. The school in the '80s, a javelin laying around is kind of believable.
okay.
For me. I the gym classes I were in,
I
we were
grew
still
up.
playing lawn darts, dude.
I was too, but I went to a pretty good size high school. We did not have a javelin thrower in anywhere in our school,
Ah,
and guess when I graduated? 1987.
right.
Same year that this movie. Oh, surprise!
Oh,
Yeah, no,
wow.
no, no.
Nope.
But
So you have somebody that's on the ground here going, no, this is bullshit.
yeah, but again, I wasn't raised in California, so there you go. Uh,
Yeah, the publicity stunt at the end to like the writer finally finishes his story. He finally recounts all the madness that happened to lead to all of these dead bodies out here. And the cops are like, we got to go in. Like, I mean, well, we all have to go in now. Some of us have been in and out getting their cop kink on. And we all go into the thing to be like, oh my God, there's blood everywhere and blah, blah, blah. And everybody outside's like, well, time to go. Throw body parts in the van.
Literally, everyone that you thought was is now awake because they're part of the movie crew, and their special effects guy has quote unquote best body shop in town, has created all these fake arms and heads and legs and bodies and so on and so forth, so on, so on, so on.
So convincing that there were like 10, 12 people tore up but not tore up.
It is anyway. So
Don't try. Don't try.
and here's the funny part though is that when they get up and they start loading the van, right? They're all like, all right, let's get out of here before they get back and all this.
Right.
You're looking at the makeup that they have on their face, and I'm thinking, I'm telling you right now, 12-year-old Alan could have done better makeup than that for Halloween and has.
It's like the white face with the little darkened eyes.
Uh, and you're just like going, oh my God. Oh my God. But,
So
but it was
yeah,
funny. I mean, it was funny.
funny little twist, and it basically it was the publicity stunt to get the cops to go look at. Really nobody disappeared. It's a B movie. Actors come and go all the time, so it's not unheard of to have a guy just disappear from set. And basically miscounted how many people were in the movie when they all jumped up and ran away.
A- and I love the fact that when the police finally come out and look around, he's like, well, Maureen McCormick's like, "Oh my god, do you think that the murder is still out there?" And he's like, "Well, we're gonna have to play it like that." I was just like, oh my god.
And then the scene of like pulling the javelin out of his stomach that he was stabbed with, and like creeping me, and those parts were so good, but it was just the in between that we're not talking about is just
So bad. It's funny because literally there are parts of the movie that you're like, oh my god, that was so goofy. That was so.
yeah,
I'll buy into that. But there, the other parts in between that they almost like they try to be too serious. So
yeah,
it's like you can't really put the two things together. It just, they really outsmarted themselves. Too
yeah.
much
There's
going
too
on.
much. You had the producer that's trying to get better jobs by like going for going for an interview with a briefcase phone in the bathroom of a school. Dude, it's 2024. I can't go into a bathroom in a school and have my cell phone work. I could lose all my bars. This guy's got a briefcase phone, like,
I,
setting
I
up an interview.
I will say this though, I loved the briefcase phone and thought to myself, I would love to have one of those
Oh
if it
yeah, it was
now
funny.
because people could you imagine the look people would give you if you opened up your briefcase and there was a phone and you picked it up?
Be
Oh,
even better if like somebody you get
great.
somebody to call you in a crowd and your briefcase is ringing.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
So I think there was just so many of these tangent lines that we had to like stop fleshing out all of these guys. Um, they don't need a story.
I agree. I agree. And again, and it's the what part of it's movie, what part of it's not, what part of it's this, what part of it's that. There's one girl playing three separate parts.
Right.
There's the whole wedding thing and the fact that it's the janitor, but it's not the janitor, it's the principal, but it's not the principal, it's just like someone no someone didn't say, "Hey, stop.
Right.
It's too much."
There's a lot going on here, guys.
Yeah,
A
there was
lot of stuff
something on
going
there
on.
for 3 different movies. They needed to just pick out a couple of things and make and run with it instead of trying to do everything at once. That's my personal opinion. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But in this case, I don't think I am.
No, no, you're on par with it. It's like I said, it was that movie that was trying to fool the viewer, and we're gonna fool the viewer by doing things so intentional that you're not fooling me anymore. You're coming close to pissing me off.
Yeah, and literally, like I said, I think I've said this same thing every week that we've done this. Chris and I don't talk before we go live. We have very few minor conversations about it. And literally, here was my conversation. Have you seen it? No. Good luck. He sends back, damn you. And then right before we went on, I said, dude, I don't know how we're going to cover this because it sucks.
It's hard. It was hard
It's
to stick with.
all right, let's just do it. We're 42 minutes in. We've already talked about anything that can be good. Let's talk about the
Yeah,
shit.
this was yeah, it's got to go to the shit list. There's not much left of meat on the bone for this movie.
No, not at all.
Again, this movie would be it's a riff track movie. It's a the MST3K style movie of sit down with your friends and bust on that movie's ass or bust on that movie's balls the whole time, and you guys Alan and I would be in fits of laughter with the jokes we throw back and forth
Yes,
on this movie.
absolutely, absolutely, and I can see it now. I can see Maureen and I, and Lunar and Chris and Darren and Hunter, even if it was over live stream, right? And that we
Oh
were
yeah, we would have fun.
we would literally be like, stop, pause the movie and just having a great time with it. It would be so
Yeah,
much fun. Yes, LG, you can definitely say that this one is definitely worse.
way worse than Sharknado. Sharknado had some redeeming qualities. Not quite sure, and it wasn't Tara Reid, but
No. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know if everyone who's heard this knows this or not, but as much as I don't like Tara Reid, I hated her in Sharknado.
yeah,
That's now in Sharknado 2, she redeemed herself. So
a
yeah.
bit. And then
Uh,
there's a clone. Whatever.
what? My question is, Would you leave it in last place or would you put it in front of
Listen, whoever
Witch?
I forget the creator's name of which. No, offense to you. You did more than I can do as far as writing, but
Yes.
Witch sucks, dude. So it's better
Yes.
than Witch.
Okay, so we know it's better than Witch. Okay, so we're gonna move it. Uh-oh. Boop. I gotta hit the edit button or else I can't move it. All right, so let's
Oh,
do that
okay.
again.
I was just
So
gonna say, don't you scroll up that high? What are you doing?
we're going yeah, we're going above Witch. Um, ah,
Blood Red Sky and Viking Wolf. Wow. You know
ah,
what? A Viking Wolf runs kind of close to this one where it's we use something to just barely give you what the title portrays,
yeah,
and this one kind of does the same thing where
yeah.
it's not a Viking Wolf. It's not returning to horror high.
Uh-huh.
Um, so, oof, uh, and Blood Red Sky.
Uh-huh.
I think it's worse than Blood Red Sky.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. If
Darren's right. It's better than Witch, and we'll leave it at that.
yeah, and it's funny because I literally went into this going, well, if he tells me he doesn't like it as much, if he liked which better, I'd be okay with that because I don't know which one of the two I hate worse because I hate them both.
It's Witch. For me, it's Witch. I didn't leave your Marvel multiverse out of my horror, please.
And that's exactly where it is for me because I'm telling you right now that I loved Witch up to the point of um
What do they call that?
the multiverse time travel bullshit, right? I was like, okay, I'm liking the era. I'm liking the costumes. I'm liking this. As soon as they did that, I went, oh shit! You just jumped a shark that I cannot fucking jump with you. So I'm with you. Return to Horror High is at least better than Witch. Whether it's better than Viking Wolf or not, I'm not sure. But I'm happy with where we've got it. 39 out of 40. By the way, everybody, 40 shows. How do you like that?
40
40.
shows.
So we
Nice.
got 10 more to be up there. Question: will you guys be covering Romulus next Thursday? No, we will not. And the reason
I
behind that, LG, is this: is that I want to give things enough time to breathe, so that we are not spoiling it for people. Do I expect to see Romulus by next week? Absolutely. Will you probably get our overall view of it by next week? Absolutely,
Yeah,
but not an in-depth like we
probably
like.
a short. I would say a short or two or something like that. We'll put out because I'm going Saturday with my youngest. Very excited. Listen, hype train for Alien Romulus. It practical effects, letting us know, hey, we made everything.
Yeah, and,
Dude,
and
a movie to say that, a alien movie to say that was like, ooh,
yeah,
I
and
like that.
not only that, but also because um, uh, it is returning to the horror aspect. So
Yeah,
it's
right to
more
the roots.
alien than aliens.
And a great time frame too, in
Yeah.
between while Ripley was in stasis.
Which
Yes,
is funny because I didn't realize that until recently.
just found that out a few days ago.
Same, and I'm really, really trying, as I did with Deadpool. I'm really trying to just not dive that far into it and avoiding trailers and things like because I want it to be a full experience. That being said, you ready? We're gonna lock it in. Are you ready to lock it in?
Lock it in.
We're locking it in. 39 out of 40.
39.
And Tina, that's okay, buddy. We understand life is as it is because we are adults and we are adulting. Next week we have a fun one coming for you
Good one.
guys.
This is a good one coming.
If you have Tubi, and if you don't, why not? It's free.
It's good stuff.
Please watch Train to Busan by next Thursday. We are doing we're going to do a breakdown on this movie, and it is a flipping fun
Are,
time.
There's a lot of opinions here too, and one of which is Korean horror that's been coming out as of
Yes.
lately, last several years. Very good, very good with their practical effects, with their CGI. Their storylines are intense and
Yes.
make sense.
And,
And what
and
they do with zombies,
really good. And the thing that I love about this movie is this movie is actually about a man who is learning how to put himself second and his daughter first, but it happens to happen during a zombie apocalypse.
on
Train
a
to
train.
very, very, very good movie. So definitely check that out this week. We're going to break that down for you next Thursday night. Chris, is there anything else you would like to tell the lovely people about before we get out of here tonight?
Absolutely. If you would like to see our presence on social media, we're everywhere with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twix, Twitter, however you want to pronounce Elon Musk's grouping of say whatever the hell you want.
We call it Twix.
Twix works for us. Our merch store, our email to get a hold of us. We love suggestions. We love stuff. Darren, we want to reach out to you. We were talking about some things. Reanimator would be kind of cool. We were kicking around. So we'll reach out to you for future stuff. Go to bio.link/graverev down on the bottom. Our lovely LG has just posted the link in the chat. You can click on that. It'll take us to it. Gives you all of our socials. You can find us there. Give us a sub. Give us a like. Slash the like Mike. Stab that sub. Ring the bell. Toll the bell. For it tolls for us.
and, and,
Stay
and
spooky out there, friends.
And that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, we absolutely appreciate you being here, whether you're here live with us, which we do recommend because I'm going to tell you right now, our Talking Dead, which is what we call our chat room, gosh, greatest group of people on the internet. They interact with everybody. Everybody treats each other with love and respect. So that being said, as we always do, until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen. May all of your nightmares be groovy. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for coming.